Hello everyone, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day and making some really good trades. I brought my mic a little bit closer today because I heard some people were complaining that they can't hear anything. So, hopefully you hear something now. I brought my mouth really close. But yeah, let's get right into it. We'll start off with the IWM today. Very impressive move overall in the market. Nice bounce today. The IWM actually ended the day up 1.8%. The triple Q is up 2%, and the SPY was up 1.43%. Market reversed on some euphoric news. Investors trim upside options bet as euphoric U.S. stock rally stalls. But I mean, that was actually the news that the when the market was going down and it was the rally was stalling. And now we just basically got a nice little reversal back up. And you can see when you head over to the smaller time frames on like the 1 hour, maybe even the 4 hour, right? You got a green cross here on the IWM, and the 1 hour you could see big money started accumulating at the lows, right? That's what they do. Smart money buys on these dips, and we should be making maybe one last push higher. So maybe we should get another 4 to 9% rally. I'm expecting maybe like a 6% rally more, back up maybe to 210. And then once we get to that level, we should probably start to stall out. And at that point, maybe the SPY will have reached 510, right? But that would be very parabolic. I mean, this whole move has been very parabolic overall. But don't get your hopes up. Like don't get too excited too quickly, because we could technically still be in this B wave here. Right now we have a bit of a break of the downsloping trend line, so that's a good sign that maybe the correction has already finished and the 2 is already in, which would be very shallow 2, and now you're going into a 3, which is very, very big. This is a very bullish move. So this is the wave 3s have been known to be very parabolic. So I mean, if you think the wave 1 was parabolic, wait till you see the wave 3, right? So that's basically it. I mean, this can go on for quite a bit of time. You got a green dot confirmation on the 4 hour, on the IWM, the SPY, same thing. And the daily is pointing that the fifth wave is in. But if you take out the high, then the fifth wave is extending, right, on the larger time frames here, right? This is extended fifth wave. But yeah, the pattern remains the same. It should continue higher, finish up the fifth wave, and then complete the overshooting X wave, call it whatever you want, an expanded flat. And then at that point, you will come back down in a Y wave towards the downside. But I don't see it going to 2008 lows anymore. Maybe not even like 2020. Sorry, 2008 is down here to 2020. You'd be even lucky if you see 2020 lows, because we've taken out the all-time high. So the market is very bullish now. You will get a correction down of maybe of the magnitude. Like if it goes down to this downsloping blue trend line that I have here, then you could be going down like 40 to 30%, right? And you'd take out the October lows, and at that point, you'd reset and you'd be getting ready for a whole other cycle higher. All right, so you could literally do that, and then inflation gets out of hand and you're off to the races on SPY 1000. And then congratulations, nobody can afford anything anymore. Everyone's a millionaire, but money doesn't buy you anything anymore. But yeah, that's when commodities come in, and gold is going to perform very well. Anyways, let's move on here. We'll take a look at actually, let me check the SPY really quickly on Wave Edge, see if we actually got any buying or selling. No, not really. So we got a green cross here on the 4 hour, and it's starting to play out very nicely, but it hasn't confirmed anything. And until we take out this pivot, the fifth wave could be in, and this is just an ABC, right? And then, or maybe we'll go lower. But I mean, right now the market is very, very bullish, very, very bullish. And I actually took some long positions on this dip right here. We bought with a smart money, so that was very fortunate for those of you who caught those trade signals inside the Discord. You guys are profiting very handsomely. Those were actually some free trades as well. Anyways, I think that's enough about that. Let's cover some individual names here. So ROKU was getting a nice little bounce today. It has technically met the minimum requirements for a C wave to be in, although it's a very shallow one, right? It could be sometimes they're very shallow and they don't always meet the targets. And if this is the case and the wave 2 is in, and then you're going to be off to the races. First indication that we are seeing that the trend is breaking towards the upside is that the RSI downsloping trend here has pierced, right? Now, it doesn't mean that we're going to go straight up from here. You could technically have a retest and then you can keep going higher, right? So maybe you stall out a little bit and then you retest, and then that's probably your chance to get in. Because that could possibly, if this is the wave C and it's finished and this is wave 2 is done, then you're going to start a whole new cycle up in a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? And at that point, the wave 2 could be maybe just a slight pause, and that's just a retest with the wave 2. So you don't want to miss that if that's the case. But the way the market is positioned right now, like looking at the SPY, I would like to see the B wave come up a little bit higher, like fill the gap here. Actually, did we fill the gap today? Let me see here on the daily. The gap was up here. I mean, if you're going to the wick, you filled the gap. But if you're going to the body, then you got a little bit more, like 475, and then the B wave should stall out, and then you'll come back down. But if this was the wave 2 and it's in, then in that case, ROKU is bottomed out, and you should be headed up to the 140 to 160 levels, right? All right, that's about it. Let's take a look at SBUX here. So SBUX is in the buy area. Nice little reversal today alongside with the markets. I really want to see more conviction from the buyers to like step in this and really blast it off towards the upside. But we'll just be patient with this one because it's respected the buy area for now, right? I didn't think it would actually come down to here, but it actually made its way down, slow and steady. So I guess SBUX is a little bit of a slower moving stock, but overall doing quite well. So if you bought in here, let's say you bought in right at the top of the red line, you're up fractionally, right? If you bought in, right at the top and you went down, you could have held, right? You bought at the center, you could have been up 1%. So that's why it's good sometimes to patiently wait and wait for the setups to come, and then you can come up with wave 2. I mean, we thought that wave 1 was in here, but we forced a 5-wave move down a little bit, and now you're really starting to see that this is a little bit the better shape for a 5-wave move down for a wave 2. Sorry, not wave 2. The beginning of a wave 1 of a 3-wave move. All right, that's enough. Let's move on. Let's take a look at Apple today. Let me take a look at Apple. So Apple's been oversold for quite a bit of time now. Finally coming back up in a wave 2. Now what I would like to see is this retrace back up and fill the gap, and for a wave 2, which was quite a bit of upside here for Apple, all things considered. Like, you need another 3% pump in Apple, and that's a lot. After that, once you fill that gap, possible reversal from there, and it's actually right where the short area used to be. So if that happens and you retest this as another retest of the short area, then you come back down. Then yeah, I would like the short setup here. But yeah, market's short term is oversold, so it's normal to see these bounces here. Let's take a look at NVIDIA. We'll talk about NVIDIA. NVIDIA is going to the moon, right? So now we've invalidated this setup that we've had. I mean, we've been looking at this setup for quite a bit of time here, and it's just not playing out. So we have to erase all of this, and it's just delaying the move down. So what you have now, ABC or WXY, and then an ABC maybe. I mean, it's very complicated at this point. What you're doing is just extending the 5th wave. So at this point, you're in price discovery, looking at the weekly. Oh man, like you could be creating like such a big bearish divergence, but this can go on for quite a bit of time. I mean, look at the monthly. Look at where the monthly is at, right? Dating back from 2016, and you've just been diverging, right? But this can go on higher. So technically, NVIDIA could go to like RSI 95 on the monthly and then come down, which means the markets could still have a substantial amount of upside left in like the NASDAQ and stuff before you see a bigger drop off in the markets. But yeah, I mean, we'll play it by ear. And right now, NVIDIA is pushing higher. Unfortunately, I have some put options on NVIDIA, so I mean, those are probably going to expire worthless, but that's just the name of the game, right? And talking about some options here, I think we actually have some options on Meta as well. And that one is also moving up alongside with all the other mega caps. So Google, Apple, they're all in sync. Microsoft, they're all moving up right now alongside the S&P and the NASDAQ. But we need to pay close attention to see what's going to be happening in the coming weeks with CPI and all that stuff, because that can really shake up the markets and things can definitely take a turn for the worse if the data is not favorable. Let's check oil today. So oil, at least oil is tracking very nicely. Oil is getting rejected here in a C-like. So you can see that it's met the minimum requirements for a wave 2 correction, like an ABC. And I mean, they made a higher high, and now you're starting to sell off again. And you know, nat gas came back down a little bit today, but was basically bought up and ended the day green. So natural gas, I need to see a pullback to be a buyer. But overall, we'll cover oil first. But oil should be essentially in this coming down in a 303, which I mean, it's starting off pretty nicely so far, if that's the case. And we'll take a look at oil on market cipher, something we don't check too often. But I mean, I check it, but I don't check it on the videos. And you can see we got red money flow, we got a manipulation cross here on the weekly. So they are pushing oil lower than it should go, and the monthly looks horrendous right now. 20 in the -3, 21 in the -3, red blood diamond. I mean, this is just a setup for disaster in the oil price. And I mean, this is screaming like recession and stuff like that. So it's not very positive. It doesn't look too rosy for oil. But oil coming down short term, like if it goes to like 65, will be bullish for the markets, right? Because they'll see like inflation is coming down. So that it can actually push the markets higher until we get to the $50 to $45 level on oil. Then maybe the markets will roll over then, because we'd be like, now it's deflationary and you have recession talks and earnings are blowing out the ass. So then you know, it's suddenly not so bullish anymore. But yeah, taking a look quickly at nat gas, we're going to be waiting patiently for a pullback to add to positions and to open maybe some new longs on some leverage longs for natural gas, because really this wave 3 we don't want to miss. It looks like this was just an extended, you know, wave 1 maybe, and then it coming back down on a wave 2. So a whole new cycle could be beginning here. Yeah, I like the setup. I like natural gas long term. I really like it. Yeah. Let's take a look at the dollar. Finally, we'll wrap it up with the dollar. So looking to see if the dollar can get to the 50% retracement. It stopped at the 38.382, and it wasn't able to get above that. If that's it for the dollar and it starts to push lower, then the wave 2 is in for the market, and we need to seek higher prices. 5,100, 5,400 on the S&P 500. The NASDAQ can push higher into price discovery as well. Same thing for the Dow Jones, and the Russell 2000 should come back at least maybe to the 2,100 area, or the 2010 on the IWM. All right, so that's basically it. I mean, that's actually a good amount of upside for the Russell 2000, 7-8%. I mean, that's not a bad move. I currently have a long on a URTY, which is a triple leverage Russell 2000 ETF. So I mean, if it goes up 8%, I should be making from here. I should be making. What's my math here? 24%, 8%. I think that's good math. 21%. no, it's not 21. It's 24%. So something like that, right? So that would be quite nice. Nice little payday there. after that, you know, there is decay in this. You don't want to hold on to this for too long. All right, so I think that wraps it up for now. I don't really have much to add. I think the China markets were blowing out the ass this morning. The Hong Kong market was in the, you know, terrible. I think the Hang Seng HSY Hang Seng index was down significantly on the day. It dropped like 2%. But I actually really like the Hang Seng for a long position, for the long term. If we take a look at long term upsloping trend lines, look at this one. You got a pivot point here, a pivot there, and a pivot there that almost basically reached. If you probably pull up some different charts, it definitely touches. And then you have another pivot down here, and then another pivot that's coming up here. And I think this was on the monthly. I played it on the monthly or the daily. I'm not too sure what I did. Maybe I can adjust it a little bit better. But overall, you guys kind of get the picture. It is getting very close to becoming a big buying opportunity. I think if we make it fit with this upsloping one, we're already crossing it. Okay, so I mean, it really depends on how you want to make it fit. But overall, I mean, like, this is screaming like a huge buy to me right now, and maybe for the long term. But this is the risk when you're buying Chinese indexes and futures and stocks, is that Taiwan and China news. If that ever happens, I mean, you're gonna see the Chinese market take a pretty big hit, and Chinese stocks will follow suit, and that's not going to be good at all. So there's a significant geopolitical risk there, and that's about it. You know, gold and silver still like them, but I think they need to pull back a little bit more, which is why I think the dollar should go a little bit higher before it goes lower. But we'll take it day by day, and if the market doesn't give us that opportunity, then it's by the dip and it's longs, right? Until this comes to an end. Really, that's really what it is. But yeah, anyways, hopefully you guys enjoy this video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.